Needing some quick and easy weeknight meal ideas that don't involve heating up your house? Keep watching because I've got some great ideas for you. Come on, y'all, let's go cook. Hey friends, welcome back to this week's video. In today's video, I have 6 quick and easy dump and go crockpot recipes that are sure to please even the pickiest of eaters. I'm sure you'll find a recipe that will fit within your family, if not more. So let's get right on into this week's video and let's get cooking, y'all. Come on, let's go. All right, y'all, so for crockpot supper number 1, we are going to do a creamy Italian chicken. So you'll just need 3 to 4 chicken breasts, which is what I have here, and of course seasonings of your choice. I'm going to do Badia Complete and the Badia Black Garlic. You'll also need a little bit of butter. You'll need a 10.5 ounce can of cream of chicken soup, but I am using the cream of chicken with herbs. So we got that. I think this will do really good, but you can use regular cream of chicken. It's no big deal. This is just what I had on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. Then you will need a 0.7 ounce dry seasoning mix of the Italian seasoning mix and 1 block of cream cheese. Now this is everything that is going into the crock pot. And then as far as sides, we're going to serve it over rice, and I'm going to make some green beans to go with it. But that is what's for supper tonight. Now let's get everything into this crock pot, which I've already sprayed. All right, y'all, so we're just going to start out by seasoning the chicken right here. I just got some black garlic, Badia Complete, and then I'm just going to go ahead and lay that into a sprayed crock pot, and then we'll go ahead and start getting everything else in there. This is just the Italian seasoning. I'm going to use that whole pack, sprinkle it over there, pour that whole can of that cream of chicken soup or whatever kind of cream of chicken or cream of soup you want, put that in there. And then I just cut the cream cheese up into little bitty bite-sized pieces, that way it'll melt better. And then I put about 3 tablespoons of butter on top of it. I'm gonna put that lid on it, cook it on low for about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. It just depends on how much chicken you have in there. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and start making my rice. This was later in the day, of course, and I just put some salt and butter in there with my rice, and then I'm just going to bring that to a boil and let it get tender. This is just the instant rice, so it doesn't take very long once it comes to a boil. I did put some chicken bouillon in there as well, and then I just heated up a can of green beans, and I'm just going to let those get all nice and warm. And then it's time to come back to the chicken right here. We're going to go ahead and give it a good old chop and get everything mixed up and incorporated. And I'm telling y'all, this is definitely a must try if you're looking for a good chicken meal. This is so creamy. It's full of flavor. And I'm promising y'all won't be disappointed in this one. And like I said, you could use whatever kind of cream of any kind of soup in there. But here's everything all done. I'm going to go ahead and just put this on and get it served up. I just put it over top of the rice, as you can see right here, but it's definitely a must try. All right, y'all, so our second crock pot recipe of the week is going to be French onion, beef, and stuffing. But we're going to go ahead and put all this in there. So I just got some sirloin tender steaks. I'm not cutting them up. I'm going to put them in there just like that. You'll need a packet of beefy onion soup mix, 1 can of French onion soup, a whole large onion sliced up, and then some sliced up portobello baby mushrooms. But let's go ahead and get all of this in our crock pot and set it and get ready for the day. Okay, so in a sprayed crock pot, you'll just go ahead and start by putting your onions on the bottom. I do this just because I like to give my meat something to rest on, so it's not right on the bottom of it. And since this is like a tender cut of meat, you definitely want to do that. Once I get everything in there, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle in some Badia Complete Nature Seasoning, and then put that other half of that large onion that I've just cut up. And then we're going to dump in our mushrooms and, of course, a beefy onion onion soup mix packet and a can of French onion soup. Now I did put about a half a can of water in that one, kind of mix it around to get the rest of that soup out of there, and then we'll put the lid on it, put it on low for about 8 hours, I believe. And here it is after everything had cooked on down. Y'all, this smelled so good when I got home. So to go with it, I'm just gonna go ahead and make this a stovetop on the side. Now you can put it on in there too and finish cooking it in the crock pot if you wanted to, but nobody wanted it that way. So I'm just gonna mix it up on the side. Now I did come in with a little bit of water and some of the broth out of that beef and a little bit of butter, and then you'll put the stuffing mix on in there once it comes to a boil, and you'll mix it around, put that lid on it, and let it sit there until it's time to serve. And I also heated up some more green beans, y'all. Those are our absolute favorite, but I did decide to pair it with a little bit of that Cheesecake Factory brown bread. Y'all, this is so good. If y'all have not tried that, see if you can find it at your Walmart or your local grocery, and definitely give it a try because it is so tasty. Pairs well with pretty much any kind of supper. But here it is, y'all. This one, you have to give it a try. You won't be disappointed. All right, so crock pot meal number 3 is salsa chicken. I got some black beans drained and rinsed. I got some mild diced tomatoes and then just some white corn. I'll also rinse or just drain those as well. Some picante sauce or salsa, whatever you want. Nature seasoning, black garlic, a padilla complete, and of course your chicken. And then a packet of taco seasoning. Now I have the cheesy taco and y'all, it worked just fine. Actually, it probably made it taste better in my opinion. But into a sprayed crock pot liner, we're just gonna put our chicken on in there, and then we're gonna season it up with some nature seasoning, black garlic, and then of course padilla complete. That is my trio. I need some more Cavenders because usually I throw that in there as well. Then we're gonna sprinkle half of that packet of taco seasoning on there, dump that whole can of Rotel in there, the drained black beans, and of course the whole can of corn. You do need to drain that too because you don't want all that extra liquid. Then we'll come back in with the other half packet of that taco seasoning, and then you'll dump about a half a jar of salsa, but in my case I had picante in the fridge and that's what I used up. So we'll dump that on in there, put that lid on, and set it for about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours depending on how much chicken you got. Cook that on low, and this is after I got home. And once you take that out, of course, I kind of just gave it a little bit of a stir before I got my little mix and chop thing here. And I just gave it a good old chop through, and then it'll be ready to serve. Now you can either serve this over rice, which is what I did, or you can put it into like tortillas and do it that way. Or you can just eat it with tortilla chips. Either way you go, it's going to be delicious. So I just made some instant white rice to go with this as well. And this is the only thing that we had with it. Like I said, you could pair it with, you know, tortilla shells or tortilla chips, whatever you want to do. But here it is after I've got it all plated up. This was amazing. So full of flavor, and it was definitely a family-pleasing meal. All right, so tonight's crockpot meal is the Buffalo Wild Wing Parmesan Garlic Chicken Pasta. I know that's a mouthful, isn't it? So we've got some 2% milk. You'll need a whole bottle of the Parmesan garlic wing sauce, I guess, or just the Parmesan garlic with Italian herb. You'll need a block of cream cheese, some Parmesan cheese, and of course about 2 pounds of chicken is what I got. I don't know what the recipe calls for, but I'll have everything linked down below. So let's get everything into the crock pot. And then you'll also need some pasta of your choice, I think. All right, so into a sprayed crock pot goes your chicken. This is just thin sliced, so it's gonna cook quicker. But once we got it all in there, we'll go ahead and season that on up with some Padilla Complete or whatever seasonings y'all want. And then that whole bottle of the Buffalo Wild Wings garlic parm sauce. And then I added in a cup of milk. I just put it in that bottle and gave it a good shake so I could get everything out. Lay that block of cream cheese on top, put that lid on it, and cook it on high for about 4 hours. It just depends on the thickness of your chicken. Once that's cooked all the way through, I just come in with my little mix and chop right here. That way it just shreds that chicken on up. Simple, easy peasy, cannot believe it. And then added in some Parmesan cheese and some heavy whipping cream to that. Gave that a good mix just to make sure everything was incorporated. And then I'm gonna go ahead and dump in my bow tie noodles. That's what I just chose to use. And then gave that a good stir, and then we're just gonna serve that on up. And you could always serve it with garlic bread, but we just had it as is because we thought it was absolutely delicious. Now I will warn you, it does have a little bit of a kick to it. It is a little bit spicy, so be careful with that. I wasn't expecting it, but nevertheless, it was delicious. All right, y'all, so tonight's supper is going to be Crockpot Teriyaki Pork Tenderloin, and I'm going to have it with rice and some sauteed or steamed broccoli. But all you're going to need for this Crockpot meal is a pork tenderloin. I know it's upside down, but this is just a pork tenderloin. I've got some Badia Complete to season it with. You'll need some teriyaki sauce. I just picked up this P.F. Chang's. Of course, some garlic, beef broth. That's all you're going to need to throw it in the crock pot. And then once it comes out, you'll have some water and cornstarch slurry, because you take that out and then you'll make the sauce out of all the broth and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get all of this thrown in the crock pot and get it cooking for about 4 to 5 hours until you can slice through it. So let's get cooking. Right, so spray your crock pot, and then we'll go ahead and add in our tenderloin or just a pork loin, whatever you have on hand. You could probably even do it with pork chops just as is, but we're going to go ahead and throw that whole pork loin in there, sprinkle some Badia Complete over top, and then a good old helping of garlic. And I just spread that over the top of it, and then we're going to dump some beef broth into the side, about a cup. You'll also need about a cup to a cup and a half of the teriyaki sauce. I just dumped it on the top of it like that. Put that lid on it and let it cook for about 6 to 7 hours on low, just enough to where you can slice through it. And on the side, I'm going to make some steamed broccoli and then just make some good old rice to go with it. I'm cooking my rice in some beef broth right there, as you can see. And then to my broccoli, I'm going to add in some butter and some seasonings. I think I put some garlic in there and probably some Badia Complete. That seems to be my go-to. But I'm just going to let that cook on down and make sure that rice is cooked all the way through. Okay, so now we're back to the tenderloin. I done went ahead and took that out, made a cornstarch slurry. Like I said, I'll have the recipe and everything linked down below. That way y'all can follow it, you know, to a T. But I just went ahead and threw that on into that sauce. And I'm going to add a little bit more teriyaki sauce because I just felt like it needed a little bit more of that. I'm going to give that a good old stir, and then we'll be ready to serve it up. So here's the rice, the broccoli, and then here is that sliced tenderloin. Y'all, this is definitely a must try. I know I say that a lot, but this one is going to be on repeat for sure. All right, last but not least, crock pot supper is just a savory beef and tater dump and go meal. So you got some French onion soup, some cream of mushroom soup, and then a can of the sliced mushrooms, a packet of brown gravy mix, and just a big old chuck roast or whatever other cut you want, and a bag of potatoes. I used the little tiny taters right there, and then I just decided to go ahead and slice up an onion to put in there as well. So in a sprayed crock pot, you'll just want to go ahead and put like a bed of onions down in the bottom. That gives something for that meat to rest on. Season it with some black garlic, Badia Complete, and Nature's Seasoning, and then we will add in the other half of that onion. And I just like to break that onion up too, that way it cooks a little bit better. On top of that, we'll go ahead and dump in our whole bag of potatoes and then our whole can of mushrooms, and then we'll season it again with the same seasonings as before. In that bowl, I've just got my cream of mushroom, my French onion soup, and that brown gravy packet. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good old mix just to make sure everything is mixed up well. And then we will dump that on over top of that everything deliciousness in that crock pot. So once you have everything in there like that, we'll just go ahead and put that lid on it and let it cook for at least 8 hours. But if you can get up to 10, that's even better. All right, y'all, so we have had this in the slow cooker all day. Sorry about it fogging up, but as you can see, it just turned off, but everything cooked up real nice. I'm gonna go ahead and take out or just kind of like stir it up a little bit. I'm not gonna really take it out because it made its own gravy down there in the bottom because we put that brown gravy mix and the cream of mushroom and everything in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of stir it up a little bit and get it plated up, and we'll be ready to eat some supper. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's video. I really, truly appreciate y'all coming back for another video of mine. I hope this gave you some good ideas to help cut down on heating up your kitchen this summer. All these recipes will be linked below in my description box, so I hope you give that a check out. And until next time, my sweet friends, if you are in need of prayer, please let me know below. I will be more than happy to pray for you all. But until next time, my sweet friends, God bless. Bye.